boys and girls, welcome to another session of Bible Club with Auntie Semira. Yes, we're here again. It's such a pleasure to have you come to club today. I'm glad you made it. Can you see the smile on my face? It tells you how happy I am to have you. Yes, we have started our listening series, and today we're going to continue on what we have been learning. It brings us to the next topic in our series: how to remember what you have heard. How not to forget what you listened to is what we're going to be talking about today. I would like to show us something from the Bible. Remember that the Bible is God's book for you and for me. And the Bible today, we're going to open to the book of Matthew. And that is in the... Did I hear you say old? No, it's in the New Testament. Matthew is in the New Testament, and we're opening to the book of Matthew chapter 7, chapter the big one and verse the small one. Matthew chapter 7 verse 24, and it says, anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise. Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise. Isn't that amazing? And the other part says, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on a solid rock. So the person who listens and does what the teaching says is wise. And the person is looked at like someone who builds a strong house, a house that will not shake. Imagine building on a solid rock. When the storms come, when the flood come, anything comes to push, it will not push the house down because it is strong. That means when you listen and you do it, it shows that you're wise. But then someone is saying, Auntie, you're talking about listening, but I try to listen. I don't know. Sometimes when I go, I just forget. Don't worry. Auntie has got you covered. I will tell you what to do. When you listen, you're not just listening with your ears, remember, like we said, you're listening with your heart. And because you're listening with your heart, it helps you remember what you have heard. You hear, then you do. That's active listening. So active listening makes you hear it, you remember it, and you do it. So I'll give you an example. Mommy calls you, Beatrice, and Beatrice comes to mommy. Mommy says, Beatrice, can you please go to Mama Iyabo's house? And when you get there, tell her that I want her to please give me the right shoe we bought last week, and I will return it after 2 weeks. And Beatrice just runs off to the house, to her neighbor's house, Mama Iyabo. And when she gets there, she goes, good afternoon, ma. My mom asked me to come to you, and she said you should give me the shoe. And because Beatrice has gone to Mama Iyabo, she could only remember the shoe. She didn't tell Mama Iyabo the specific color, and she didn't tell her when her mom will return the shoe. Do you think that's a full message? Do you think Beatrice listened to her mom when her mom was speaking to her? Beautiful answer. Beatrice was not listening. She did not give her full attention. So when we hear things, we do not just hear with our ears. We need to listen with our hearts and remember so we can do it right. So if Beatrice had listened well to her mom with her heart, she will remember what she's told and be able to go to Mama Iyabo and tell her the right thing. So for us to really listen and remember, what do? We need to stop all we are doing. Take away all the distractions. If you're watching TV, if you're playing a game, if you're talking to somebody else, stop it. If you're using a phone, just stop it and focus on the person that is talking to you. Put all your attention on the person. Let the person know I am looking at you. And as you look at the person, you're looking with your eyes, you're hearing with your ears, and it's staying. That's a different thing than, oh, you're playing a game and you're listening. No, it doesn't work that way, because sometimes you don't take everything in. That's the first thing to do. You need to look at the speaker, focus, give the person all the attention. And now, when the person is talking, you give your ears, listen to the person. Don't begin to think, oh, I know what the person is already saying. I know she's going to just say it this way. No, open your heart and listen with your ears. So when the person is talking, do not interrupt. Allow the person to talk. The person has talked, then you will now do your own. Because you don't have to begin to talk over each other. No, you sit down and listen. Listening gives full attention. And as the person is talking, if the person's face is getting sad or you need to look at that too and listen. Take note of those things. They call them non-verbal. The person is not talking, but the person looks sad. The person begins to cry. Take note of those things. Now, if it is even another level, as the person is talking, you can write down. Because in writing, it helps you remember. You can go back to that journal. Remember when we talked about journaling? It helps you remember what the person has said. Do we go to church? And sometimes we take notes when our teachers are teaching because we want to remember what we are being taught. That's journaling too. So you take notes as the person is talking. As the person talks, remember you're not to interrupt. But when it is your turn, you ask the person, Mommy, do you mean I should go and get the red shoe and tell her you will return it after 2 days? And Mommy goes, yes, that's what I mean. So you need to repeat after the person in some cases so that you can confirm that what I heard is true and that's what the person means. You need to repeat after the person. And do you know you're not just repeating? As the person is talking, you do things like nodding your head. You do okay, just to make the person know you are following the conversation, you're following what they are saying. You're not just there and sitting like this and your hands are folded like I'm not interested. That's not nice. When you do all these things, you respond, you repeat after the person, you take notes, you focus on the person, you give your full attention while the person is speaking without interrupting, and also pay attention to the non-verbal, the thing that the person is not saying. Maybe the person has a sad face, the person has worry on their faces. You take note of all those things. You will be able to remember because it gives you a picture in your head of how the discussion went between you and the person. Children, don't just listen for listening's sake. We need to remember because it is when you hear, you remember that you're able to do, and that is real listening. That's what listening helps you to do. So this week and always, I want us to listen and try to remember all that we are told, not just letting them go. In the Bible, you will see that when God gave the commandments, they wrote it down. So it is important to write. You need to take it down so that even people that are coming after you will see it. That's what the Bible is. We were not there when the Bible was written. But here we are today because it was written. We can read it. We can see how they also listened. They heard the instructions and they wrote it down. When Moses was talking to God, he asked him, is this what you said? Do you want me to do this? And that's how people are able to remember what they heard. So this week, it doesn't just apply to us as children. It applied even in the Bible. In the Bible, there were people that listened. Abraham was instructed to go and give his child as a sacrifice. He heard God and he listened, and that's why he remembered what God said. When he got there, he did not change Isaac into maybe a goat. He did what God asked him to do. So when you listen, you're able to do it. You're able to remember and do. So hear it, remember, and do it is the process you go through. This week, I have told you we're going to be hearing, we're going to be remembering, and we will be doing. And I'll wait to hear you tell me how it went with you through the week. I love you, children, and we'll gather again to learn something new about our listening in our next lesson. See you soon.